Okay, so 8 plus 3 is 12, plus 1, oh, did I do that right? 9, so that's 14, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yep. And then 5 plus 1 is 6. Now, you need to go back and look. I have two numbers, 195 and 3.5 pounds are both in decimal form. So I have 1, 2, 3 numbers after my decimal, so I'm going to start to the right and go over 1, 2, 3 times, and that's where I put my decimal. So you should have paid, remember it asks you to round to the nearest cent. These are your dollars, those are your dimes, those are your cents, right? That's your pennies. So you're going to have about $6.24 for 3.5 pounds of grapes, right? All right, number 8. Let's move on. Number 8 says, Ashton rode 4.8 miles on Monday, 7.2 miles on Wednesday, and 9 miles on Friday. How far did Ashton row? Now I want to know what he rode total, so this is what kind of problem? Subtraction or addition? It's going to be an addition, right? Because if it's the difference, it's subtraction. But if I want to know the total, it's addition, right? Okay, so I start with 4.8. He did 4.8 miles on Monday. On Wednesday, he did 7.2. So if you guys, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to put my largest number on top. That way you guys are getting used to that. Oh, and then 9 miles on Friday. So 9 is actually bigger than 7.2. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one up here. Now, look closely. I did not put my 9 here. I'm not saying I have 90 cents. I'm saying I've got $90 or $9, right? So this 9 actually is 9.0. So remember, get used to seeing it in a decimal form, all right? Because that 9 is much more than you think, okay? So 9 plus 7.2 plus 4.8. Let's start here. 8 plus 2 is 10. 9, 10, that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Drop my decimal. He rode a total of 21 miles. Okay? Alright, let's move on. Number 9. So let's look. Number 9 says, let me move this real quick. Sorry, guys. Number 9 says 9.2 times A. So you guys are like, oh no, a letter. That's alright. Guess what? They actually give you a key right here. A is equal to 0.34, B is equal to 0.04, and C is equal to 8.6. Now, I'm going to set it up 9.2 times 0.34. So if you want to look at my paper, 9.2 times 0.34. I'm not too concerned with the decimal right now. I'm just concerned that these numbers are aligned. I don't mind about those decimals. I'll worry about them later. So let's start. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 times 4 is 36. Cross this out, put a placeholder. 3 times 2 is 6. 9 times 3 is 27. I'm going to add these two sums. 8, 6 plus 6 is 12. 10, 11. I should get those two. Alright, so I'm not done yet. These are both in decimal form. I have 1, 2, 3 numbers after my decimal, so I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. So I should have gotten 3.128. Now, remember guys, the only time you're multiplying like this is if it's a multiplication problem. If it's addition, you are not doing that. I think for some reason you guys got confused that you were, oops, forgot my addition sign. For addition, for some reason you guys were thinking to multiply or to add like the way you multiply, which is a little confusing to me. But remember, the only time you're multiplying these numbers if it's multiplication. Addition, you're not doing that. You just go straight down, add straight down. All right, so number 10 says A plus B plus C. So again, you were given your key right here. So you're literally just going to list those out just like that. So 0.34 plus 0.04 plus 8.6. Now, if you don't know which one's largest, I want you to think about money. And if you still don't know which one's largest, that's okay, because it's addition. So I'm going to make it from largest to smallest. So 8.6 is actually $8.60. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Plus 34 cents, 0.34, plus 4 pennies. 0.04 is 4 pennies. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 6 plus 3 is 9. Drop my decimal since it's an addition problem. And then 8 plus 0 is just 8. Alright. So number 11. Number 11 says the product of A and B. Now the product actually means multiplication. So let's go back up here and look for A. A is 0.34 and B is 0.04. So I'm going to set that up. 0.34 times 0.04. Remember, I just want these numbers to be aligned, okay? Just so happens that my decimals are aligned as well. So again, 4 times 4 is 16. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply the 4 by the 3. I get 12 plus 1 is 13. And then 4 times 0 is 0, but I have a 1 left over, so that's a 1. Cross this out, add my placeholder, and I'm going to erase these numbers from my previous digit from 4. That way I don't get confused later on. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0, and 0 times 0 is 0. I know that's a little bit redundant, but just go ahead and go through each one. That way you don't miss a 0, okay guys? Next, cross this out. If I have 2 numbers that are crossed out, that means I have 2 placeholders, right? I think that's what caught a lot of you on the quiz. Let's go. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. And 0 times 0 is 0. I'm going to add all those 3 sums. I know that's a lot of zeros, but it's okay, because they are actually very important in the end. And I'll show you why. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 0 is 3. 1 plus 0 is 1. And 0 plus 0 is 0. And 0 comes down. Now I want to go back to my numbers right here. These are both in decimal form, right? So I want to look how many numbers, how many digits are after each decimal. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means I'm going to go to this number down here, start at the right, and move over 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where I put my decimal. So I should have gotten 0.0136. Good. Alright, so let's move on to number 12. So number 12 has a key word in it, and it says the difference between C and B. Now, difference means subtraction, right? So I'm going to go up here and look at C. C is 8.6 and B is 0.04. Now remember, 8.6, if we think about money, is that $8.06 or $8.60? That's $8.60 because that is in the tenths place. So let's set it up. So $8.60 is my larger number. Remember, it's important to put the largest number on top. Minus B, which is 0, align my decimals since it's subtraction, 0.04. So that's 4 pennies. I want to take 4 pennies away from $8.60. I can't do 0 minus 4 because that would be a negative. But I can do 6 minus 0, so I'm going to borrow one number from this 6. And this 6 becomes a 5. I don't need to go all the way to the 8. I only need to go over until I can do a subtraction problem that I can borrow a number. And I can borrow a number from the 6 because I'm still left with 5, and 5 minus 0, I can still do that. So I'm going to add 10 to this number. This number is 0, so that becomes 10. Now, I can go ahead and start subtracting. 10 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 0 is just 5. Bringing down my decimal, 8 minus 0 is just 8. So my difference is 8.56. And you guys could have thought about this as 4 pennies. Take away 4 pennies from 60, you're left with 56. And then $8, you don't take any cash away. Alright, number 13. I'm going to go ahead and go on a new page. That way you guys have a little more clarity. So 13 says, let's read that together, if it'll focus. Says, Davis decides to save $8.35 each week from his babysitting jobs to buy a present for his father's birthday. So let's look at part A. It says if he saves for 8 weeks, how much will he have saved? So let's multiply these two numbers together, because it is a multiplication. He saves for 8 weeks and he makes $8.35 each week. So let's go ahead and set that up. $8.35 a week, and he saves for 8 weeks. So 5 times 8 gives me 40. 8 times 3 is 24, plus my 4 is 28. 8 times 8 is 64, plus 2 is 66. Now, I have one number in decimal form. This is not a decimal form, it's only an 8. That's a whole number. So I have 2 numbers after my decimal, so that means I'm going to go over 1 2 times. That's where my decimal goes. He saved $66.80 in those 8 weeks. Now, next part, it says, if he wants to earn $50.10, how many weeks should he save? So $50.10 is less than $66.80. So he's probably not going to have to work for 8 weeks, right? So let's see how many weeks he needs to earn. So you guys can troubleshoot it and guess and say maybe 7 weeks, multiply and see if you got 50/10, or then 6 weeks and multiply and see if you get 50/10. But I'll show you the way that I used. So that was part A. This is part B. So I know that he made $66.80 from working 8 weeks. I'm going to subtract that from what he wants to make, $50.10. I can do 0 minus 0, I can do 8 minus 1, and I can do 6 minus 0 and 6 minus 5. So I'm going to go ahead and bring these down. 8 minus 1 is 7, bring down my decimal. 6 minus 0 is 6, 6 minus 5 is 1. So that's my difference between those two amounts. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to take that difference and I'm going to divide it by how much he makes per week, right? So 835 divided by 1670. I want to know how many times or how many weeks are in my difference. So I don't like this as a decimal, so I want to change this into a whole number. And then however many times I move on the outside is however many times I move on the inside. So my decimal would go right there. So this becomes 835 divided by, or 1,670 divided by 835. Now, you guys can do your math on a little sheet of paper or somewhere beside the problem. So I know 835 can go into 1,670 at least one time. But I want to see if it can go in there twice. So here's my math. I'm going to multiply by 2 to see if it can go in there. So 835 times 2 gives me 1,670. So it actually can go in twice. My difference is 0. So that's the difference of 2 weeks. Now, take it away back here. This was 8 weeks. and my difference is 2 weeks. So I'm going to take 8 weeks minus a 2-week difference, because remember right here, I don't know how many weeks this is comprised of, but I do know what the difference is between these two, and that's 2 weeks. So 8 weeks minus 2 weeks gives me 6 weeks. So he needs to work 6 weeks. Oops, sorry. He needs to work 6 weeks to make $50.10. Now I can check myself, and let's see. Hey, I don't know if 6 weeks times $8.35, which he makes a week, would give me $50.10. So I'm gonna go ahead and check that. I'm gonna erase my little work over here, and I'm gonna take $8.35 multiplied by 6 weeks. I want to see if that'll give me $50.10. So, oops, sorry. I cannot draw straight lines. 5 times 6 gives me 30. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 2 is 50. Now, I have one number in decimal. That is actually a whole number, so that doesn't count. This is a decimal, so I have one number after my decimal, 2 numbers after my decimal, right? So that means I'm going to go over 1, 2. That's where I place my decimal. So 6 weeks of working gives him $50.10. I am correct. So it does work. So he only needs to work 6 weeks to save $50.10. All right, so let's move on. Number 14 says Al bought 4 tickets to the country fair for $4.45 each. I want to know what's the total for 4 tickets. Now, some of you I know are gonna do 445 plus 445 plus 445 plus 445. You can do that, but to me, I think it's a lot simpler to just take 445, cost of each ticket, multiplied by however many tickets I have. And that's a 1-digit number. You guys can do that. It's pretty simple and pretty quick. So 5 times 4 gives me 20. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17. I have one number in decimal 4, and I have 2 digits after that decimal, so I'm going to go over 1, 2. So he paid $17.80 for all 4 tickets. So that was part A. Now part B, if he paid with a $20 bill, and that's how much his total was, what was his change? So I'm going to take this $20 bill. Remember, it's a $20 bill. So that decimal needs to go after the 20, right? So did he have any change in this $20 bill? No. So that means he's got 0, 0. No change, right? Just 20. So I'm going to subtract this. I want to know what my change is from $17.80. Remember, subtraction or addition, we just want the bigger number on top. So can I do 0 minus 0? Yes, I can, because you're taking nothing from nothing. But I can't do 0 minus 8. So I'm going to go ahead and move over. Can I do 0 minus 7? Nope.